$49,000 every month. That's how much the king of sleep streaming here, Jakey Boehm, is making. So let's look at how to set up a sleep stream, and like the thumbnail says, it's probably easier than you think. Now we can basically break down a sleep stream into 3 components. Firstly, what I call the basics. And this is basically the user sends a gift and it triggers either a sound or a video. And here's a quick example of a video triggering after a user has sent a gift. Next up, we typically have an image showing the viewers what gifts they should send and what's going to happen once they send the gift. This is quite deliberately sideways right now and we'll explain why later on. Finally, we have our smart devices. We'll look at how to activate those and why something like this can help you turn on things like smoke machines, bubble machines, and more. So let's start by going over everything you'll need to set up a good sleep stream. We're going to cover a lot of things here. There's going to be a link to everything I mention in the description. Firstly, let's go over everything that is fully required, and then we'll cover everything that's optional. So firstly, obviously you need access to TikTok Live. You need to be 18 years or older, and you need 1,000 followers. You do not need a stream key for this. We're just going to be using our phone cameras. However, you do need access to a PC, Mac, or a laptop. You also need the ability to output sound using speakers from that PC or Mac. Next up, you need a Tikfinity account. It's linked in the description, and you just hit the setup page to make an account, and that's completely free. And let's finish by stating the obvious, you need a bed or something to sleep on. Now let's cover all the optional software, and this is going to massively improve the quality of your sleep stream. So firstly, we have Tikfinity Pro, and this allows you to use more than 20 sounds and more than 10 videos. Next up, we have GIMP. This is free image editing software, and it's what I used to edit the scrolling image that I showed you a bit earlier on. Moving on, we have OBS Studio, and this is what we use to output the video and the sounds to the viewers, as well as show the scrolling list of gifts that I just mentioned. This is IFTTT, and I'm going to call this IFT for the rest of the video. Once it's linked with Tikfinity, this lets us control smart devices such as lights, and lets us control smart sockets like this one here, so that we can turn on things like smoke machines, bubble machines, and whatever else you want to turn on. My personal IFT link is in the description, and IFT also has a Pro plan, and we'll use the Pro plan to go even more advanced to add delay. So for example, you could turn off a smoke machine automatically after 5 seconds with the IFT Pro plan. Code Harry10 at checkout will save you 10% off this. It's pretty cheap, but why not make it cheaper if you're going to buy it? Now let's look at the optional hardware that will help improve your sleep stream, and we'll start with computer or TV screens. I'm going to put a load of Amazon affiliate links in the description here, so if you want to support the channel, just click on the links in the description to head to Amazon. A lot of the big sleep streamers use 2 different screens to help them with their sleep stream. One shows the videos and the sounds, and the other shows a scrolling list of gifts. So make sure you have up to 2 additional TV or computer screens. Next up, we have lighting, and this simply improves the look of your room. These are sound reactive lights, and these will react when your speakers play any sound, and it just adds a bit of fun and chaos to the look of your sleep stream. Next up is smart lights. You could set it so the viewers send a certain gift and it turns your lights on or off. I'll be giving specific recommendations for the smart devices in the smart device section. Moving on, we have smart plugs, or smart sockets as some countries call them. Like I've showed you a few times here, these things are going to help us turn off any dumb devices like smoke machines, bubble machines, and whatever else you want to turn on or off. And speaking of course, you might want to get yourself something like a smoke machine here, or a bubble machine here, or any other machine that you want to be turned on or off with smart plugs. Now, the core of any sleep stream is playing sounds through the speakers and also playing videos on the screens. So using Tikfinity, which is linked in the description, let's look at how to do that. So let's start by clicking on the sound alerts page, and this is the simplest aspect of a sleep stream. Super simple. Let's click create sound alert. I'm going to select my trigger, so which GIF we're going to use. And in our example, we'll use a rose, and I'll click select sound, and we'll wake up the streamer with a very basic fart sound. If I want to hear what it sounds like, I'll just hit play, but I'm just going to hit apply. And that's simple. We've now set up a sound alert so that if the viewer sends a rose, it plays a fart sound to wake me up. Now what we just used there was the sounds provided by myinstance.com, but as you can see up here, you can upload any sound just by clicking this box. If you want some added chaos, make sure this box here, play sounds simultaneously, is ticked. This means if viewers send 2 GIFs at the same time, it's going to play the sounds at the same time. And often for a sleep stream, that's a good thing because the viewers find it funny. Just in case you get a lot of gifts, increase this queue length. I think the max is 5,000, so why not set it to that? If you were just looking for the most basic of sleep streams, then your job's now done. You could just go live with this. You would just refresh the Tickfinity website after going live, and you'd be done. Of course, the most successful sleep streamers go much further than this, so let's move on to adding videos as well. So now it's time to choose which videos the viewers are going to play, and there is of course hundreds of different ways to download videos on the internet. The site I've got here is called Vlipsy and it contains thousands of different popular video clips. However you choose to download videos, just be aware of copyright law and only download if you have permission. Once you've downloaded all your videos, it's now time to choose which gifts will trigger the videos. So I recommend writing down all your videos in something like Notepad or Google Docs, and then decide which gift is going to trigger the video, as well as deciding whether it's going to trigger anything like lights or smart devices. When deciding which gifts to use, don't forget that from 1 TikTok coin, you get half of a cent. So therefore, 1,000 TikTok coins gets you $5. So I would suggest choosing a wide range of gifts, starting with short duration sounds for low value gifts, all the way up to full length videos, which also trigger smart devices, for the high value gifts. Now let's head back on Tickfinity. If you want to find a list of the available gifts, just head back to the sound alerts page, click on create sound alert and click on the drop down list, and you've got a list of every single gift and you can see how much coins they're worth. And of course you don't want to keep this sound alert, so when you're done, just hit the trash icon and press yes to delete it again. Once you're done, you should have a nice list of gifts which are matched to your chosen videos and sounds. So we have our videos and sounds downloaded, and we've chosen which gifts are going to trigger them. So now we have to plug them all into Tickfinity. So we can add both video and audio on the actions and events page. And as you saw earlier, we can use this sound alerts page just for sound. Just keep in mind, if you use both the actions and events page and the sound alerts page, the sounds might clash sometimes, but that's probably a good thing anyway, because a chaotic sleep stream is usually a good thing. So you saw at the start of the video I used the coffin dance meme example, so let's just add that again. So we start by uploading our video by creating a new action and giving it a name. So I'll call it coffin dance, and then we have loads of options here, but the key one is either play audio or, for me, play video file. So I'll go ahead and tick that, select file, and I'll pick it off my list of videos here, and pretty quick, it's already uploaded it to Tickfinity. Now if you also wanted it to trigger a smart device, we would use the webhooks here, but we'll actually come back to that later, so we'll leave it for now. The display duration is the length of the video. You can ignore the points section here, and media sound volume's fine. Leave it on screen 1, leave the cooldown on 0. This box, I'll untick it, doesn't matter too much. What you do want to tick is repeat with gift combos. What this means, if you get 2 of the same gift, it will repeat the video. You don't want it skipping on the next action. That means if you got 2 gifts really quickly, it would skip this. Now I've briefly switched it to screen 2 because you've probably seen a warning like this. You can just ignore this for now. Let me switch it back to screen 1. So just ignore the warning and just hit save. Next up, we need to assign a gift to our newly uploaded video. We do this with the events, so hit create new event and leave this top one on everyone, and here we click on sending a specific gift and then choose our gift off the list. I'll choose something like the garland headpiece. Next up, it needs to trigger an action, and of course our action is the coffin dance video. If you wanted a gift to randomly pick between multiple videos or sounds, you could use this random option here. So for example, I could upload 3 different videos and it would pick one of the 3 every time somebody sends that gift. I'm not going to do that, so I'll just hit save. Now, just go through the list that you made earlier on, upload every video or sound as an action, then attach your chosen gift to that video using the events. Finally, we have to transfer the videos and the sounds from Tickfinity to OBS. So firstly, check which screen number that your videos are assigned to. You've probably left it on screen 1. And then let's scroll down to the overlay screen settings in Tickfinity. And we're just going to click on screen 1 or whatever screen your videos are on. As you can see, that's copied it to the clipboard. And now what we do is we add it to OBS as a browser source. So underneath sources here, you press the plus button and click on browser, and then just type in Tickfinity screen 1 or whatever screen number that it was. You press OK and you replace the OBS link with the Tickfinity screen link. Of course, let's just set our dimensions to 1920 by 1080 or whatever the dimensions of your screen is. Just to be safe, before you hit OK, you should probably tick shut down source when not visible, so it's not playing sounds when you don't expect it. Then just hit OK. You can leave all the other options as the default. So now your sounds and videos will play through OBS when the viewer sends a gift, but of course, we probably want to test this, so it's pretty simple. Just put both Tickfinity and OBS side by side. Keep in mind, just because I'm making this video, I've muted the sound. To test your video, all you have to do is find the video in the actions on Tickfinity and press this play icon here. And as you can see, it's now outputting on OBS. And if I had my sound turned on, it would be playing the sound through my speakers as well. Don't spam click these play buttons here because Tickfinity puts them in a queue, so if you pressed it 10 times, it would play the video 10 times in a row. If you want to test your sound alerts as well, these play through the web browser. Just go on the sound alert page and press the play icon. So we'll look at how to get OBS full screen shortly, but first, you're probably not going to be receiving gifts 100% of the time. So to save us from having a black screen, what we want is a nice scrolling list of recent gifters. So what you want to do inside Tickfinity, I've already done it. Click on the overlay gallery and then head to the gift feed. So let me just delete mine here to show you what I did. Firstly, if I scroll along here, you can customize the gift feed. All I really did was increase the font size to 100, but you can change the colors and the fonts if you want. If you click this test button, you'll get a nice preview of what it looks like. Once you're happy, we just have to add it to OBS. So we'll click on copy URL and go back to OBS, and we're just going to add another browser source. So click on browser. This time we'll call it something like gift feed, press OK, paste in the link again, and this time we're going to set some different dimensions. I'm actually going to set the width to 480 and I'll set the height to 1080, and we'll just press OK. And once again, let's spam click test to make sure the feed is populated. And of course, it's the wrong size right now. So what I have to do is drag it over here like this. And now it's full screen. Obviously, it's not showing too many people right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a scroll effect. So I'm going to right click it in the sources, click on filters, and under effect filters here, press the plus button, click on scroll here, press OK. And what we're going to do is just add some vertical speed. Doesn't need too much, but something like that. Play around with it if you want. Make sure loop is ticked. And if I press close, now you can see I have a scrolling list of recent gifters. If I go back on actions and events and press play on one of my videos, you can see we have a problem. The gift list is over the video. That's because the gift feed here is above Tickfinity screen 1. So what I'll do, I'll drag it to the bottom. You can see it's now disappeared and it's reappeared when the video stops playing. Let's just confirm that though. Now you can see the gift list completely disappears when a viewer triggers a video. So now the basics of OBS are working, it's a good time to connect our additional TV or computer screens. And if you're going for a full slipstream setup like you saw at the start of the video, you want to connect 2 screens to your computer. One is going to output the videos that we just set up. The other is going to output a scrolling list of gifts. Most Macs and PCs can connect multiple screens just fine. There is so many different ways to connect a TV or a monitor to your computer. If you need help, just type it into YouTube. Somebody has almost certainly made a video guide showing how to connect your screen with your computer. If that doesn't work, you can also join my Discord to ask questions. It's linked in the description. And if you are new to the world of multiple computer screens, to test that it's working, all you have to do is just drag your mouse off the side of your main screen and you should see the mouse appear on the next screen. Now, of course, you want to position these screens somewhere in your Sleepstream room so that the viewers can see these clearly from your phone camera. Once your screens are plugged in and working, what we're going to do is project OBS onto those screens. So it's actually pretty simple. Just right click the video area of OBS. There's a lot of options, but the one you want here is full screen projector. You can see I've got my 3 different screens here. And for me, I'm just going to pick my main screen as the example. And as you can see, we are now completely full screen with OBS. And let's just test on Tickfinity by running a video. I'm on my second monitor. I've just pressed play. And as you can see, our coffin dance video is now completely full screen. Whenever you want to stop projecting, just press escape and it stops projecting. Your OBS will still be open. If you recall towards the start, I mentioned that what we've just done is called the basics. You could go live with this, but you're missing a lot of interactivity. For example, right now, the viewers don't know what gifts to send and they can't trigger any smart devices. So let's move on to that first one now. Let's look at how to add a scrolling list of gifts so the viewers know what gifts to send. Later on, we'll add this scroll effect and I'll explain why it's sideways inside OBS. But first, let's just make the image using GIMP. And as you can see, I've moved to the left side of your screen because the bottom right of GIMP is quite important. So once again, GIMP is free. It's linked in the description, and also in the description is this template which I'm using, which you can use for free as well. If you are using it, just hit File, click Open, and open the file. And before we go any further with GIMP, this does not auto-save, so File, Save, or File Save As quite frequently, so you don't lose any work. So to begin, if I zoom out here, you can see I've given you a ton of space, but everyone will have a different number of gifts. So you'll need a different canvas size. So click on Image at the top, click on Canvas Size, and just change the height when you want to add or remove gifts. So I suggest ordering your gifts from the lowest value gift to the highest value gift, or vice versa. Let's begin by editing the rose gift, which I've already given you. And after that, I'll show you how to duplicate it. So firstly, I'm going to press T on my keyboard, or you can press this A icon up here. And then we can just click on any of the things which are text. So if it's not a rose, change the name of the gift. And this right here is what the gift is going to do. So if you recall at the start of the video, I set a rose to play a fart sound. So I'm just going to type in fart. And then of course, a rose is just 1 coin. So I would change that value to 1. If you want to move anything around, just press this icon in the top left or press M on your keyboard. I'm going to align the 1 with this symbol here. I'm also going to move the TikTok coin closer to the number. Next up, let's think about what our gift is doing. For the rose, it's just playing a fart sound. So I've got this light symbol to indicate smart devices, and the video and the music symbol, probably obvious. So I want to hide those. So on this list on the right here, if it's not already expanded, click the plus button here to expand the group, and then just find the relevant layer. So the video logo here, you need to hide that. Leave the music note unhidden and hide the light bulb icon. And now it makes sense. If you send a rose, it's just playing a sound as indicated here. Now, of course, you probably want to replace the rose icon with another icon. So for that, let's head back to Tickfinity. So you can either go on the Actions and Events page or the Sound Alerts page. Whatever page you're on, all you have to do is right click the gift icon and click Copy Image, and it's copied to your clipboard. Next, we head back into GIMP, then we either press Edit and Paste, or we just press Ctrl V. And you can see in my list of layers here, it's now called a floating selector, pasted layer. What I want to do is click this little green paper icon with the plus, and that's now added it properly to our image. Again, I'll press M on my keyboard, or I'll press this icon in the top left to drag it into the correct place. And of course, I'm going to delete my rose icon. So just find it in the list. If you're struggling to find it, just click through each one. They're all outlined. I've found it now, so I'll just right click and delete layer, Now I've replaced one gift icon with another. Of course, it didn't make sense with my example, so I will actually just undo that. But now you know how to paste in new gift icons. So now we know how to edit each gift. It's now a case of copying and repeating for all the gifts that you have. And there's a few tricks involved here, so let me show you those now. So firstly, I'm just going to press the minus icon on the list of layers here. I'm going to click on the group and press Ctrl C to copy or hit edit copy. And immediately, I'm just going to press Ctrl V to paste it back in. Now you might think not much has happened other than a new layer being listed here, but right now I've got two graphics on top of each other. Don't move anything just yet. What we're going to do is we're going to link all our different layers together. So on this new copy here, press the plus icon, then this blank space next to the eye icon, I'm going to click on it. I'm just going to keep clicking down until every single layer in this group has a chain icon next to it. Now if you press M on the keyboard or click up here, we can now click on it and drag it down. And now you can see we've got two images. Now all you have to do is repeat the steps we did earlier. Use the text editor to edit the text. Click on these icons if you want to show smart devices video. Paste in any new gift icons. And then before you copy your new layer, untick the chain icons. Otherwise, you're going to have multiple groups chained together. Then, of course, it's the simple case of continually copying each group layer until you have all your gifts listed in your graphic. Once you're done, we need to save this properly and export it as an image file. So hit File in the top left, click on Export As, and then type in a name for your image and make sure it ends in .png. Now our graphic's ready, we have to add it to OBS. So we will be using two versions of OBS later on, but for now, only use one version, otherwise things might not save properly. What we're first going to do is underneath scenes, make sure you click the plus button and made a second scene, call it scrolling gift list or something like that. As you can see, I've already done that, but just make sure there's a separate scene that plays your videos and there's a separate scene for your scrolling list of gifts. You might not have named your other scene yet. It might just say scene 1. So make sure you right click it and select rename. Name it something sensible. And once it's named, click back onto your scrolling gift list scene. So this time what we're doing is we're going to add an image source. So under sources, just add an image and I'll call it scrolling list, something along those lines. And then just find where you've saved it. Once you've found it, you can ignore any of the tick boxes here. Just press OK. Now you can probably see there's some blank space on the side and it's not scrolling yet. Let's fix both of those issues now. What we're actually going to do is we're going to rotate our screen by 90 degrees so that it's vertical rather than landscape. Let's start by adding scroll. This is pretty simple. Just right click the image, click on filters, and then click the plus button and click on scroll. Just press OK, and all we have to do is add some vertical speed to the image and press close. You can see my image is now scrolling. So we need to rotate the image on the screen by 90 degrees. So simply right click it. There's a lot of options, but what we want is transform. You might want it clockwise or anti-clockwise, depending on the way that you've rotated your screen. I'll rotate it clockwise. It's now filling the full area. Now I've also seen some people add a little banner at the top which says something like this. So if you're going to do that, go ahead and make yourself one inside GIMP, and then all you have to do is add it as another image source inside OBS and then just rotate it. Once you've made it, all you have to do is head back into OBS, add it as another image source. So I'll call mine header, for example. Find where you've saved it, press OK, and all you have to do is once again just rotate it and add it to the correct place. You can see it's not scrolling and it's now telling the viewers to send gifts to wake me up. Now of course let's test it. So plug in the screen that you want this to show on, and once again right click OBS, find the full screen projector and project it to whatever screen you're showing it on. Once again, you're looking at it sideways, but all I would do is I would rotate my screen by 90 degrees and you've got a nice vertical list that the viewers can see on your sleep stream. So far we've only projected to one screen at a time, but of course we want to get 2 versions of OBS running, and that's actually pretty simple to do. All you got to do is just in your search bar type in OBS, just click on it again. It's going to give you this warning here. You're just going to select launch anyway. Once the second version's launched, just find your scrolling gift list on your second one and then put them side by side. Make sure one OBS has the Tickfinity screen, which is going to output your videos and your sounds. And then make sure the other OBS has your nice scrolling gift list. And then all you got to do is just right click, full screen projector, project one OBS to whatever screen you want it on, and just repeat it for the other one. Project this to a different screen. And now you've got one screen showing the videos and the other screen showing the viewers what gifts to send. Now that is our standard setup complete. You could go live now and you'd have a decent looking sleep stream, but in my opinion, the real money from a sleep stream lies with the smart devices. So this is the most exciting part, and this is probably easier than you think, like it said in the thumbnail. So we'll go from the simplest things like sound activated LED lights all the way up to how to set up a smoke machine and automatically turn it off after a few seconds. If you want to support the channel while you're shopping on Amazon, just use the affiliate links which are in the description. Like I said, we'll start with the easiest, and these are sound activated LEDs. So it's pretty simple. If these things detect sound coming out of your speakers, the LED lights will react in a fun way. They don't take any setup, just plug them in and they're good to go. Now, of course, the viewers have no control over something like that, so let's move to the even more fun stuff, which is Tickfinity webhooks. And this will let your viewers activate devices by sending certain gifts. Now, the device that gets activated needs to be compatible with IFTTT, which we mentioned earlier. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is IFTTT and what is a webhook? So let's go over all of that right now. So let's start by looking at what smart devices you can use with IFTTT. So use my link in the description and make yourself a free account on this website. So if you want to see which smart devices are compatible with this website, then just make sure you're on this explore page here. And then in the search box here, you're just going to type in the brand name of your chosen smart device. So for example, this smart plug here, which I'm going to use to turn on and off a smoke machine, is a TP-Link smart device. So I'm just going to type TP into the search bar here. And as you can see, TP-Link Tapo is available. So my smart plug here is compatible with Tickfinity, and the viewers will be able to control this plug once we set it up. So TP-Link is going to be my personal recommendation. These smart devices are both good value and easy to set up. The main one that I do see missing is Elgato. If you're a streamer, you probably have one of their products. So unfortunately, the viewers cannot control your Elgato products yet. So once again, my Amazon affiliate links are in the description. If you're making any smart device purchases, just make sure that it's listed on the IFTTT website before buying. So as you saw earlier, we have this trigger webhook option, and the webhook is what talks to your smart devices. And before we go any further, just a quick warning about Tickfinity. Although Tickfinity does have this gift queue here, there is no queue for the webhooks. So on the rare occurrence that people send multiple gifts at the same time, these webhooks are going to be called straight away and they're not going to be in the queue. So if you're both activating a smart device and playing a video or a sound, then there's a chance that the video and the smart device won't be in sync. Now the Tickfinity developer is working on a fix, and of course you won't frequently receive multiple gifts at the same time. Now here's how to get your webhook URL. So to begin, head on the IFTTT webhooks page. I've linked this in the description. You can also just Google IFTTT webhooks. Next up, just click on documentation here, and as you're seeing, I've done a lot of pixelation on this page because you do not want to share your key with anybody. If you do, there's a chance that they'll be able to activate your smart devices. So what we want from this page is this link here. What you should do is copy this full link here and then save it into something like Notepad, because we'll be using it multiple times. Let's start with one of the simplest things you can do, which is turn smart devices on or off. And as you can see on my terrible second camera here, what we're going to do is we're going to set up Tickfinity and IFT to turn this smart bulb on. So let's begin on Tickfinity on the actions and events page by either making a new action or clicking the pencil icon and editing a previous action. For me, I'll make a new action and I'm just going to name this one Light On. If you wanted to play audio or play a video file as well as activating your smart device, then tick one of those boxes, and then either way, head to the bottom here and click on Trigger Webhook. So this is where we paste the link that we just saved. So here's my link. I'm going to copy and paste the whole thing into Tickfinity, but we do have to make a major change to this link. We have to get rid of the event bit, including the curly brackets, and replace it with our own event. So I'm going to call mine light_on. So I know you can't see the whole thing in the Tickfinity web browser. So here inside Notepad, here's what the whole thing looks like. Once you've got it inside Tickfinity, I want you to copy the light on section or whatever you've named this into your clipboard. Once you're happy with all your settings, hit save. Once you've saved your action, if you didn't already, make yourself an event for sending a specific gift. Choose which gift is going to turn your smart device on. Make sure you choose the action from the list, hit save, and now we're ready to move to IFT. So again, if you didn't already, make an IFT account with the link in the description, and in the top right corner, hit the create button. Next to if this, we're going to press add, and we're going to search for webhooks, and we're going to choose the receive a web request option, and then the event name is what we copied just before. Mine was light_on. Once again, if you're confused, it's what you put in your Tickfinity webhook URL earlier on. Now just hit create trigger, and now we have the then that option. Press add, and this is where you're going to find the brand name of your smart device. For me, my brand name is TP-Link. I'll just type TP in. It's this one here, TP-Link Tapo. Once you get to this stage, you'll have to connect your smart device account to IFT. And once you've done that, you'll have all the options that the brand allows. For me, I just want to turn it on. So I'll press turn on and I'll choose the correct device from the list. In fact, it's already pre-selected the correct one, which is my smart bulb. And once you've chosen the correct device, just press create action. Once that's done, just press the continue button. You can change the name of it if you want, and then press finish. And if you end up on this page, then it means you've now set up your smart device. The viewers should be able to control it by sending their chosen gift. Now, of course, you probably want to test it. So let's head back to the Tickfinity page, and all you have to do is press the play icon next to the action. So let's do that now. It's usually delayed by a few seconds, but as you can see in the bottom left, my smart light has now turned on. If you had any videos or sounds attached and you had OBS open too, then it would also play the video or the sounds at the same time. So just very quickly, let me upload a video as well. I'll just pick a random one here, and then I'll make sure it's on screen one, and I'll press save. So now when I play it, it's going to play both the video and it's going to turn on the smart light. So let's test that now. As you can see, video is now playing on the screen and the light just turned on as well. So if you're just doing simple things like turning on and off all the smart devices that you own, just go ahead and repeat that process for every single smart device. Now, of course, not every device is a smart device. So how can the viewers interact with your dumb devices like smoke machines, bubble machines, or whatever else you have? Well, I've showed you a few times already. The answer is surprisingly simple. The answer is this thing, smart plugs. Like I said before, I think some countries call these sockets. So I'm using TP-Link smart plugs, and once again, my affiliate links for this are in the description. All you really have to do is find a machine that will continuously run when turned on, and then plug your machine into the smart plug, and then the viewers can turn the smart plug on or off to activate the machine. So of course, we've already seen how to turn a smart device on or off, but let's speedrun it again. So in this example, let's imagine we're using a smart plug to turn on a smoke machine. So before I make a new action, I'm once again going to copy my webhook URL. Then we'll create new action here. I'll call this smoke on. Again, you could choose audio or video, but we're triggering a webhook here, and we'll paste the link in. Of course, it says light on. We need to change this, so I'm changing it to smoke_on, and that is the key thing. So make sure you change that. Change any of the other options you want. Of course, make an event for it. We'll skip that now, but you need to choose which gift is going to turn the smoke machine on. Then what we'll do, we'll head back to IFT, click on create in the top right corner. Under if this, I'm going to press add. Once again, choose webhooks and then receive a web request. And this time the event is called smoke_on. Click create trigger, then under then that, find the brand name of your smart plug. So again, mine is still TP-Link. So I'll choose TP-Link. We're going to turn on the smart plug, so I'll choose turn on. The device is this time my P100 smart plug. Create action. And once my action's been created, just press continue. Rename it if you want. Press finish. And simple as that. Now the viewer can turn on my smoke machine via the smart plug. Of course, if you head back to Ticfinity, if you press the play icon here, you could test that it's working. I don't actually have a smoke machine, so I can't test it. Now, of course, you probably don't want these things running forever, especially something like a smoke machine or a bubble machine. So either you need a different gift that the viewer can send which turns off the smart device, or we can go even more advanced and automatically add a delay and then automatically turn off the device. As a random example, the viewer could send a Galaxy gift, and the Galaxy gift would run your smoke machine for 10 seconds and then automatically stop the smoke. So firstly, if you do want to do this, there's no way around it. You do need to press the upgrade button on IFT and make sure you've purchased the Pro version of IFT. As you can see, it's pretty cheap, but if you want 10% off, use code HARRY10 at checkout and make sure you've signed up by clicking my link in the description. So there's actually two ways to use the Pro version of IFT to add delay. There's a method from IFT themselves and there's a third-party method. Let's start with IFT's method. What I'm going to do this time is instead of creating a new applet inside IFT, we're going to edit the current one which turns the smoke machine off. And what we'll do with IFT is we're going to turn the smoke machine off after 15 seconds. So of course I don't need a new URL because I've already got the smoke on URL here. So we're going to head back into IFT, click on my applets and find the correct one. You can see I've got a few different ones here, but it's this one here which says smoke_on. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. What we need to do is go in the top right corner and click on settings, and we need to make a few changes. So of course we want a 15-second delay, but actually the delay is going to be caused by a second IFT applet. What we need to do, we need to call our second applet, which we haven't made yet, from the first one. We're already receiving the web request from Ticfinity to turn the smoke machine on. We're turning the smart plug on here, and now we need to talk to the second IFT applet. We do that by pressing the bottom plus button here, and we are once again making another webhook. Very importantly here, this webhook needs a different name, so we're making a web request this time. Once again, we're using our webhook URL, but instead of being named light on here, I'm going to call this smoke_delay. I'm going to highlight it and copy it this time into IFT instead of into Ticfinity. All the other options on this page, just leave them as the default. Don't change anything else. Just hit create action. When done, you should have a page like this. Again, most important thing is this web request here cannot have the same name as this one here. So this bottom one is called smoke_delay. This top one is called smoke_on. Once you've double checked that they've got different names, press the update button or the save button. And we need to now move on to making our second applet. So once again, we'll hit the create button in the top right corner. If this is once again a webhook and receiving a web request, and the web request is smoke_delay, which we just made in the first applet, click on create trigger. This is where it's different from all our previous applets, and this is what we had to pay for. Press this plus button between the two here, and we're going to add delay. Now I mentioned there's two methods to add delay, and the reason for that is because you can only add delay in increments of 15 seconds. And with something like a smoke machine, you probably want it on for less, but in our example, we'll make it 15 seconds because that is the IFT minimum. Once you've chosen the amount of delay, just press apply, and you can see our 15-second delay on turning it off has now been added. And of course, like I just mentioned, we do have to turn it off after the 15 seconds. So under then that, I'm typing in TP because that's the brand name of my smart plug. And this time I'm choosing the turn off option. And of course, I find my smart plug on the list and I press create action. And after a few seconds, it's now been added. You can see it's going to wait 15 seconds, turn off my smart plug, which turns off my smoke machine in our example. Of course, one final step, press continue, rename it if you want, and then press finish. So again, you can test this by going back to Tickfinity and pressing the play icon next to the relevant action. And with any luck, you should see your smart plug turns on the device. IFT will wait 15 seconds and then it will turn off. Sometimes it's a little bit imprecise. It can be a few seconds off. Now, as we just saw, the problem with IFT delay is that you can only do it in increments of 15 seconds. And for something like a smoke machine, you probably want less delay than that. So let's look at the other option, which uses IFT and a third-party webhook. Let's do a full example here. In our example, we're going to turn a bubble machine off after 6 seconds. So we'll start with the Tickfinity webhook, and we're going to change the event name to bubble_on. And I'm going to copy the URL into a new Tickfinity action. So I'll call this Tickfinity action bubble machine. Again, you could play audio or video. We're going to focus on the webhook. We'll paste it in and we'll make sure the event name's set to bubble on like I did already. Go through the other options if you want. Press save and we'll move over to IFT. Now, like we did with IFT's inbuilt delay, we're actually going to use two different applets for this. So we'll start by pressing create and making our first applet. This is a webhook, once again, receiving a web request. And just to double check, we named it bubble_on. So we just repeat that name as the event name, bubble_on. Click on create trigger. But then that, we're once again turning on our TP-Link smart plug. So I've searched for my brand name, click on turn on, and I'm just going to find it on the list. There's my smart plug, and click create action. And again, we're using the paid version of IFT here, and we're going to press the plus button at the bottom. And we're now going to trigger a webhook, but instead of triggering a IFT webhook, we're going to trigger a custom one. I'm going to click on make web request, and let me show you the webhook right now. So this bottom one is the webhook that we're going to call, but as you can probably tell, there's a few things to change before we call it. So you can just copy this webhook off the screen, but I'll also put it in the description if you want to copy it from there. Firstly, we changed this event section here, and just like last time, we have to have a different event name here. So don't name this bubble on. I'll call this bubble_delay. Now the letter T here means the time delay and it's in minutes. In our example, we're adding a 6-second delay. Quick math tells you that's 0.1 minutes, but if it was something more complicated like 5 seconds, you just type it into Google. So 5 seconds in minutes, and then you would just copy the number that Google gives you. Anyway, for me, it's 6 seconds, which is just 0.1. So I'll replace x.x with 0.1. So the delay is now 0.1 minutes or 6 seconds. Now this key section here is your IFT key, and hopefully you've got these links in the same document. So all you do is you copy the key above and replace all the X's with your IFT key. Just quickly, if you have forgotten your key, it's on the webhook integration page on IFT. Just click on documentation, and again, your key will be at the top. So once you've composed this big long link, copy the whole thing and head back to your IFT web request, paste in the URL here, leave all the other options the same, don't change them, click create action, and now you can see we've got 3 different things showing on our page. Now just press continue, give it a title. So I'll call this one bubble delay. Press finish, and now once it's finished making it, we have to make our second applet, which is now going to turn off our bubble machine. So to do that, just hit create. If this is a webhook and we're receiving a web request once again, and the event name we're receiving is what we chose here, which is bubble_delay. So we're receiving bubble_delay, and we create the trigger. Then all we do is we now turn off our smart plug, which is attached to our bubble machine. So I've once again found my brand name, and this time we are turning off our TP-Link smart plug. So I've chosen the plug off the list, and that's now set to turn off. I'll press continue, give it a name if you want, and press finish. So let's just run over what's going on here. Once the viewer sends a gift, Tickfinity makes a call to this applet. What this applet does is, firstly, it will turn on the smart plug, which turns on your bubble machine. It also calls the webhook, which in our example, the webhook simply waits 6 seconds, and after that time, it talks to this applet here, which tells the smart plug to turn off, which therefore turns the bubble machine off after 6 seconds. Once again, if you wanted to test this, head back to Tickfinity. Next to the relevant action, just press the play icon. It should turn the bubble machine on, wait for 6 seconds, and then turn it off. Of course, it's not just the smart plug you can add delay to. You can add delay to any other smart devices as well. So as you can see, we've brought back our trusty smart bulb, and let's very quickly add a 6-second delay to our smart bulb. We'll turn it on, we'll wait 6 seconds, we'll turn it off. So in Tickfinity, I've already got my light on webhook trigger already. So I've got that added already, so nothing else to do inside Tickfinity. I'll go back to IFT and I'll create another IFT applet. If this is a webhook, which is receiving a web request named light_on. So we just hit create trigger here. Then that obviously is going to turn on my TP-Link smart light. So let's pick the smart bulb from the list here and click create action. And after a few seconds, we can now add the webhook as well. We're going to add the third-party webhook because we're doing a 6-second delay. And that's obviously not an increment of 15 seconds. I've pre-made it here. So I'll just go ahead, copy that, and then paste it into IFT here. Again, you leave all these as the default. Click on create action, press continue, give it a name. So we'll call this one bulb on, and then we'll press finish. Now we just have to turn the bulb off. So we'll create a second action here. We are once again receiving a web request from a webhook. The request is light_delay. So we'll copy that one here. We'll paste it in here, create the trigger, and finally, all we have to do is turn off the light bulb. So which device is it? It's my smart bulb. I'll press create action. After a few seconds, I'll press continue. And once we've named it, press finish. Now all we have to do is test that it works. So let's go back to Tickfinity and I'll press the play icon, and you can see in the next few seconds the light's turned off, and if we wait the 6 seconds the light will turn off. It can be a little bit delayed, but as you can see the light is now turned off. Nice and simple. Adding a delay is easier than you think. Now, when it comes to devices like smoke machines and bubble machines, there is a so-called dumb alternative to smart plugs. As you can see in a lot of these Amazon pictures here, most devices like this have a remote control. So what you could do is while you're sleeping, you could just conceal the remote control somewhere, probably under your blankets. And when a viewer sends a specific gift, you could just activate the machine by pressing the remote control. Of course, I don't recommend that because that's one more thing you have to focus on. Now, finally, make sure you've updated your graphics list to include any of the new smart devices that you've just set up. And of course, as you're seeing here, Jakey's got his room looking really nice. So make sure that your bedroom is looking as good as it can for the camera. And now a few words about how to get the best out of your sleep stream. Firstly, post videos before you go live. I've noticed Jakey posts sometimes 5 or 6 videos a few minutes before going live. What this does is when people are scrolling through the For You page, they'll see your video, they'll see that you're live, and they'll tap into your live. It just gets you more viewers. Also, remember, nobody becomes a celebrity overnight, pun intended. It will take you time to build an army of loyal gifters. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you want some help from me to set up your sleep stream, check out my Fiverr page, which is linked below. Thank you to Angel, who is my first YouTube Gold channel member. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the join button if you found this useful. There is a ton of helpful links in the description, and thanks for watching.